The journey that I've been on over the last 12 months has been one in which I've had to accept all sorts of incredible and amazing things. And in order to understand some of the guests and what they've been presenting to me, I've had to have an open mind. I've had to look at things somewhat differently than perhaps I did in the past. In the past, I might have thought things were just too incredible, too stupid, too ridiculous to be possible. And yet over the last 12 months, it has taught me, speaking to these wonderful, honourable, earnest, genuine guests, that what they've presented to me, some of the incredible things, the information about banking and how money is just generated out of thin air, how people can sit and channel either aliens or spirits from beyond, that people can heal themselves using incredible energies and biorhythms and bioresonance or scalar energy, as I did yesterday. And yet it doesn't matter how incredible some of these things are. There are still people out there who do not appear to have open minds, and yet they're still looking at some of the things that have happened recently, 9/11, JFK, moon landings, you name it, and they may have an opinion on that. They may say, hang on a minute, that is definitely a scam. I can't believe the narrative. I can't believe that a government would turn on its own people, that it would try and get rid of you by enforcing you to have some form of medical intervention. Our whole ideas of the things that have happened in the past are going to be challenged. This year, I think, more than any other year that we've ever been in, is going to be one which is going to not only wake people up to the great harm that has happened to all people across the globe, but it's going to be one in which we're presented with new ideas, state-of-the-art knowledge that perhaps has been occulted, that is secret, that is coming out, that should have perhaps been here 100 years ago. But because of dark forces and perpetrators who have decided that we, the ordinary everyday people, are just not ready for it, or that we shouldn't have it, or they wanted to keep it for themselves, people have managed to close their minds off and said, no, this is too much. I can't cope with this new knowledge, that it's too much. I interviewed a lady just before Christmas who was talking about bioresonance. In fact, you could send a strand of your hair to her in her place in Ireland, and putting this into a machine, it could, using the energy, your own energy, using electromagnetic waves or the energy of waves, it could in fact diagnose the things that were wrong with you. And by charging it with a relative energy that the diagnosis of the machine says, it can heal you. And I interviewed yesterday a gentleman who was talking about scalar energy. You send in a photograph of yourself, and it's the energy of you, not the photograph. That's just merely a messenger, but it's a way of transmitting part of you into his machine, and he can, using the same scalar energy, sunlight effectively, heal you from many of the ills that you may or may not know. And he was saying, test the system, test it. Now, I'll leave links to these in the description, so if you missed the videos, go and check them out if you so wish. But one has to have this open mind. Otherwise, I feel that we're going to be left behind. Some things, of course, you could say, well, Richard, you're opening yourself up to all sorts of quacks or all sorts of nonsense. People will be lying and making up. They want to make money. That's true. There will, of course, always be those who are ready to take and make a fast buck, as it were, or a quick quid on the way. But genuinely, and generally, there will be those that are honestly trying to help humanity. And this knowledge that we are only just beginning to understand is going to be presented to us. And I feel this year there's going to be a huge unveiling of much of this stuff. Energy that will control our own lives, and we will be in charge of it. We no longer will be reliant on these big conglomerates, the big corporations. They're dying. They're dead in the water. You can see how desperate they are to control us with their with their policies, which they're throwing out like some mad, bizarre monster, throwing them left, right and centre, going, no, this is not working, try this then, we'll get you with this, digital IDs and CBDCs. You know, we've spoken about this, but they're dead in the water. It's not going to work. And I said yesterday, one of the things that we perhaps should concentrate on are the things that we want, that perhaps that some of us on YouTube who are looking at the problems and continually to talk about the problems as if they're never going to be fixed, that we're never going to get round them, that they're just more and more of the rubbish that's coming here. And if we talk about that, then I was saying that I felt that we will materialize this. Again, old knowledge that some people cannot accept. I saw in the comments, thinking, well, that will never do it. You can't do it with thinking. Well, if you think for one moment about every invention that you could possibly imagine has been thought by someone, thought into existence. Now, that may be an older process of thinking, coming up with an idea and then drawing up plans and making it. But it did become a reality. And I say again, I think the more that we concentrate on the things we want, the inspiration is going to come to us. The ways to deal with it are going to come forth. We may find that we can introduce a credit-based money system, or not have a money system and undermine their way altogether. The more we concentrate on the things that we want and we desire, the more that we hold those positive thoughts, the more that we have love for our fellow man and woman, the more that we push back on the control of the corporations, the greater the chance of those ideas, those minds, the materialization on both a physical and a spiritual level is going to happen. But I realize that there are going to be, and there will always be, the doubters, the people who think it's impossible, the ones that said that Newton was wrong when an apple fell from the tree, that Tesla could not possibly have come up with his ideas for free energy, those people who thought that talking into a box in your hand and could communicate to another part of the world was impossible. There'll always be people who cannot see into the future or have no creativity to imagine. And I think partly some of that has been not their fault. I'm not blaming them, of course. I think that they have been, unfortunately, dumbed down by the system. The system has controlled their mind. Perhaps the pineal gland has calcified in them, that they cannot see or have no hope, and are as some people have written to me about things in the Bible saying, oh, Revelation is coming, there's nothing you can do about it, we can't change it, the future is bleak, we're all going to die in a horrible agonizing death, and that's it. But I don't see it that way at all. I have hope and I have vision, and I open my mind to all these wonderful people who are there for the benefit of humanity, and that we can do things. If we close our minds off to the possibility of stuff that we yet to understand, where will we be? To me, in my mind, that there is two worlds at this moment, and they're splitting. There is the old way, and those that cannot conceive that there could be a way out of this, that we have an infinite amount of energy and positivity and methods to escape the tyranny that's being pushed down on us, that we that have the light to shine in the dark and shrivel those monsters that lurk there, we will be on the new world that's coming. I honestly believe that. Now, ask me that a year ago and I would have thought you're talking nonsense, it's rubbish. But the journey that I've been on, the people I've interviewed, the people I've met, the people that I've come up to when I've been doing talks, the spiritual awakening in my heart has been huge. And I know that I'm not alone in this, that people all around the world are feeling it. They're feeling the new energy. They're feeling the new world. They're feeling the separation of the old. And they know that the monsters of the past, the tyranny, the dictatorship, the Luciferians, the dark forces, the perpetrators of our time are dead in the water. They're gone. And this year is going to have that revelation, and next year is going to be amazing. We may have troubles ahead, I grant you, and it will test us. We will be looking about and we will be thinking, oh my God, is this really happening? Am I right? Have I made a mistake? Did I make the wrong decision? Am I believing nonsense? But we must hold our nerve. We must look forward to this new world. Those that can't, I'm afraid it seems they're going to be left in the old world, and all that they believe, the bad forces, the bad things, the bad energy, they will carry on materializing to them. And there's no way of saving them, unfortunately. But we all have that ability in our hearts to open our minds and to think for ourselves, to think uniquely, individually, that we can get out of this, that we are doing something, that people behind the scenes are weaving magic, and we are part of it. With our public consciousness, our minds open to new ideas and new ways of thinking. The thing is, it's happening. That's the thing. Just look at the world around you. Yes, there's all the turmoil and the danger and the murder and the death. Yes, I see that too. But I choose not to watch it and focus on it. I'm focusing on the harmony within, the magic that is coming, the new world. Now you might think, oh my God, Vobes has lost it. It's all poppycock. But the more that we concentrate on those things that are holding us down, we will continue to be held down. We must visualize those chains as broken. They're already gone. We're running free. And the new world is waiting for us. We only have to open our minds and embrace it. And that is what I intend to do this year.